Right, lads, we're back again. This week we're here for UFC, or Road to the UFC in Shanghai as we are in China. We have a pretty big card here, actually. Let me drop the camera a tiny bit. We have a pretty big card here. It's very, very long. It's kind of the same as the Dynamite Contender Series. A lot of unknowns, a lot of lads just trying to break through. So I'm going to break it down. There's odds finally available for this. The main reason I've waited so long, and basically the day I've put all the research in, 99% of it's written down here. Don't look at my writing, it's horrendous, but don't look at my writing, right? So I do have it down. I've been waiting for the odds, and I'm ready to put it down. So we'll start with the first fight. We'll start with Jung Young Sao. To me, everyone on this has a very, very weak record. Of course they do. They all have very weak records. It's all Asian people. Like, this lad's only 22, born in 2002. So he's not going to have a very long record. He comes from Korean Zombie MMA, which is obviously TKZ's MMA gym. He has beaten a few, but again, 14-14 at 3-1. That fight was pretty poor as well. He just kind of, in my opinion, I think that Jang Sung Jung kind of overshoots wrestling quite a bit. He doesn't exactly really time anything. It just seems to be, I'll come forward with just bullish sort of style and hope that it works, hope for the best. In hindsight, it usually doesn't, and that's kind of why I would kind of know against him. Here I do believe that he has really, really good leg kicks. They're stiff, and he does have good pressure when he strikes forward, but this pressure is always kind of broken by him trying to force a takedown. That 99% time isn't there, so he just jumps into a grappling exchange that he more than likely loses because he's not a very, very big... what weight division is he fighting? Not a very, very big... 170, or it's not a very big 170. It's one of those ones where I think a lot of people who have higher stuff could really take him on. Chin is strong enough early on. He's wasteful with a lot of his feints and stuff. He kind of tries to set up traps, just aren't there, or else he doesn't really take them on. When he's in the clinch, he does get, as I said, gets dominated pretty easily. I do think he has okay stand up. He definitely has power to really rock chins, but nothing special. His overall wrestling isn't exactly great either. It's kind of spam takedowns till you get them down. Then he doesn't hold down his opponent. He kind of lets up him easily. Kind of just, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Kind of just doesn't really take any... I can't really think of what I'm trying to say here. Doesn't really take any traps or anything like that. He just kind of lets them straight back up, and it doesn't really work. So, no, I don't think Jang really has it here. I do think Kit Campbell is going to win this fight, the killer. From Kit Campbell's stuff, Kit Campbell has definitely fought the way higher competition. Kit Campbell has fought Kevin Jerzett, Mafuel. These are all, like, even, I know Fraser didn't have a high record here, but he definitely was good. J. Jam was 33-8 at the time. He's lost to Mafuel twice. He's lost to Mafuel and beat Mafuel. I definitely think he's beaten the higher level quality here. He's coming from Hex, which is definitely a higher fight promotion. His stand-up is very good. I do think it's still a weak record, but I definitely think it's better than Jung's now, to be honest. I think it's still weak. Great Muay Thai when he's in the clinch, his knees and elbows, and his actual striking is brilliant. He's clearly very, very good at Muay Thai and very good kickboxer. He does have a bit of a weak defense in striking. I'll give him that. Not great defense when he's actually in striking. He kind of leaves the chin open, a bit high. Doesn't really block. It's a bit of a strange sort of defense towards striking. His questionable cardio, yeah, leg kicks will be an issue. This is where I think Jung will have a lot of success because his leg kicks are very painful. They look very, very strong. But with the decent grappling of Kit Campbell, I can see him being overworking Jung when he tries to shoot for takedowns or get against the cage. In the clinch, I think Kit Campbell has it. I do believe that as this fight goes longer, Kit Campbell will be able to take him over with the higher reach. Maybe not the better chin, but the higher reach, being able to take him over inside the clinch. I think knees and elbows will do a lot. I would say around 2 or 3 finish from Kit Campbell, and we'll move on. Now, we'll move into Aaron Tadu versus Xin Yin. Look, to be honest, most of these names aren't going to be said correctly by me, but Yin here, to be honest. Give me 1 second. Yeah. So, Shin for me has an odd record. I wouldn't actually call it weak. I just think it's a bit strange. He's been on the road to the UFC before last year. He's come back. He's won again the road to UFC. Great finish actually by him. he's beaten, like, when you're 16-05 fighting 1-0 is a bit weird, but that's probably really his only questionable, and a lot of the other ones just seem like normal, Asian squash matches, sort of like can crushing. It looks fine. If I'm going to be honest, from watching some of his fights, even from like the early stuff, I can't find full fights from. I don't know what's with this man. He's like one of the only fighters on the Soul card. I genuinely cannot find full fights for. The only thing I can find is like highlights are mostly stuff. But what I can see from those is he does have a good grappling game, strong strikes, decent leg kicks. Nice powerful hands, can definitely get a lot of KOs with them. I don't think he's tested at the highest level, I will say that. I don't believe that most of the fighters on this whole show are really tested at the highest level. I think that's kind of the point of the show, but I do think that he has a very odd sort of way to look at stuff. I do think he has heavy hands. I think this is going to play massively into the way that he's going to fight. I do think a decision's live here. Does go to decision with a lot of people. I do think he just looks better over 15 minutes. I think his grappling, his striking, he really puts it together, and he always looks better near the end. I would take Ying inside this fight now, to be honest, because I think Aaron 2 is possibly the worst matchup for him. Aaron 2 is definitely a Maui, you can see by the tattoos. Mainly be strong, which he is. I watched a lot of his fights, but an odd slow record. He does fight in, he is from City Kickboxing, so in Arkland, so you know that he's with some of the best. But to be honest, his Elijah Smith win, his fight in the Contender is the one I kind of look at the most here, where he just got pieced apart for 15 minutes. It really wasn't anything spectacular, anything special. He got pieced apart for 15 minutes. He looked like someone who is not fought great. Even his Ariola Oliveira's fight, where he finished with the second round knee, was not a good fight. His elbows and punches from backhand against Rio on the actual road, not too bad, but a majority of his fights are finished in the first round against, as you can see, very questionable competition. He clearly has very heavy hands, which he does. But his main sort of issue into why I think Ying's going to be able to win this, I'm actually surprised Ying's the underdog, Ying's like 7-5, is because Ying will be able to open him up with strikes. Ying can catch his chin, he keeps his chin very high. I understand it's the Maui style. They're going to walk forward, they're going to bait you, they're going to say, come and hit me if you think you can take me. I get it, I know what their style is, but I do believe that he doesn't have any grappling. It seems like in all of his fights, once he gets punched to the cage, he doesn't really know what to do. It's kind of one of those ones where I don't think he's actually trained any grappling. So I can see Ying being able to push him to the cage, hold him there, stall a bit, then be able to take him down and just be able to control him. I just think that it'd be a decision. I don't think Aaron 2 is going to get through this, really take much damage, but I just think he's going to get controlled. I take I'm going to say 30-27 Ying. I genuinely don't think Talou takes one round. Right, next we move into Lauren Talou versus Van Wy. Look, I'm just going to... I can't say normal names. We're not going to try and pronounce half of these. But yeah, Lauren Talou, to me, I've watched a lot. He also trains at City Kickboxing. A lot of lads do. I do think he also has a weak record. Look, this is going to be the fucking staple of it. But I have seen a few of his fights. I've seen the Toby Minch one, which was a great finish. The Zhang fight, obviously, the decision as he goes through to the road to the UFC. I do think, again, he loops a lot of shots when he actually has someone in front of him. It's kind of strange. Like, instead of shooting straight, he'll try to go round the guards, which doesn't always work. But I do think that with the division that he fights in, which I think is 155. Well, I was he's a bantamweight. Sorry, 135, not 155. I was going to say bantamweight. Yeah, to have a 72-inch reach at 135, his looping shots could work if he fights lower guys. He is 5'7", but he looks a lot taller. He has a big wingspan. I will say he loops his shots, but he has a strange defense as well. But he has a strong chin. Not brilliant striking, but this is where I think he kind of takes over with grappling. His grappling's very good. He can take people down. He can hold them against the cage. Stall a little bit. I do think we're not going to see many finishes on this, besides maybe a submission by him. I do think his pressure is very good. I think it works very, very well against the cage. I think he will be able to get takedowns in here. Even in his only real loss, it was more just kind of he got outworked with bad cardio late on into the fight, because he usually didn't go to decision around this time. It's usually finishes. I can see another decision here. I am going to say I do think Lawrence Liu wins this. Down to Van Wy. I think he works very well off the back foot, but he's very hittable. He has strong hands, but he keeps that chin high. I do believe the looping strikes could actually be a big problem here, because he is a bit shorter. He's 5'7", but his reach isn't there. And if he keeps this chin going, and the way that I expect Luau to go around the guard, I do genuinely believe Luau could actually catch him and knock him out. I would say that I think Luau will take a decision, but I do think Luau might have a likely knockout. We'll move on to the next one. We'll go with Sebastian Elias versus Chung Mun Yao. Now, we'll start with Sebastian for this one, because I think Sebastian's actually going to win this one. So we'll start with him pretty quickly. To me, Sebastian just basically has the better grappling and striking overall in this fight. He's fought the way higher competition. He's clearly going to be able to take this fight quite easily. He has the better grappling, better competition, better, basically all around better game. I'm not going to waste too much time on this. I do think Chung Man Yu is not terrible. He has decent grappling, but lows way too many strikes. He's coming from one. It's a high caliber of fighting from one, but I do also believe that a lot of these decisions he didn't win from watching the majority of these fights, and his losses looked bad. He really kept his chin high in a majority of his losses, got caught. Could see Sebastian doing the same and finishing him. Next we'll move into Angalaya versus Nasser Neem Batia. Look, I'm doing career suicide here because I can't say half of these names, but to me, I think Angalaya wins this one. I think Angalaya is very clearly the better fighter between the two of them, but he has a very, 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 very questionable record. Look, it's becoming a normal trend here that a lot of these Chinese fighters just fight inside their own country, so they're given really, really easy matches. So 7-7 at 11-1, 5-7 at 10-1. Very questionable, but being fair to him, he's very clearly has power in his hands. He has great wrestling. His takedowns are there. If you show openings or don't know how to do it, he can take it. Look, I will say his opponents have been easy. Even Master Shnaghai, this Indian, we all know Indians are shit at MMA. This finish was good, but we can tell that he isn't very, very good or a very, very strong caliber fighter. I do think he has had a questionable opponents, but his ground game and transition work has looked so good, especially with his crushing elbows on the ground, that I do believe that if he runs into a fighter who doesn't have any takedown defense like his opponent, he can just take him down, rain elbows, get ground and pound, and win a fight pretty easily. I do think he has strong hands on the feet as well. We're moving to Namzir. Let's call him Namzir. Right, Namzir actually has another, weak record, and one thing I'd highlight is losing to Nazirgal Tambarbailov, who's actually the co-main of this card. He isn't great. It's not a great thing to lose to him by the ground as well. He's kind of looked clueless on the ground, and that was nearly 3 years ago, so that's not a good look. Main reason I can't give any praise or really anything to look at here is he's basically only fought Mongolians inside his own country, and that's not a great sign for me. A lot of these fights he's been taken down, controlled. Even his ground and pounding in M1 general, even that lad 1-0 had him on the ground for about 4 minutes till he just switched it over and ground and pound him. A majority of these people have been able to take him down and actually control him pretty easily. It's not a good sign when the majorities do not look good. To me, I do think that he doesn't have a great submission game, and his game plans look very poor with takedown defense. And if he comes in with a fight style like that with an Alligator, he will finish him, man. That's the way I look at it. Next, we move to Damir Fan versus Jinyun Park. I will pick Fan here, straight Buddha. I do believe the Fan, again, he doesn't actually train at City Kickboxing based from Australia. I thought he did, but he doesn't. He's probably fought the higher actual quality on the card. He has lost to Southkill twice, which, look, no shame in that. Southkill's come into the UFC and looked really, really good. He hasn't beaten a massive amount, but again, I always say Eternal MMA I think is one of the better promotions that you can come from for this. I do think that he has okay takedowns, kind of poor transitions when he hits the mat. He doesn't really kind of slide in or get up that well, but I do think that his striking when he gets back on the feet is very good. But he's a big wrestler, so cardio could be an issue, but I will say that he beats Jungyoung Park here. I just think that Jungyoung Park doesn't really show a massive amount. He comes from the Korean Zombie gym. He's 8-3. I believe that he tries to copy the Korean Zombie way too much. He just pushes forward with kind of reckless abandon, not really much of a game plan, not really much of a defense. I don't think he kind of hits me as Justin Gaethje coming off the regional scene. Justin Gaethje can take a punch, of course he can, But once you kind of take so many punches on the regional scene to where you think, oh, I'm indestructible, then you actually meet someone who can actually strike, it's going to be a bad night. Now, I do not think that Damir Fan is the better striker here, but what I mean is I think if he gets reckless enough, he could get caught, dropped to the mat, guillotine, there's something caught in some sort of submission as he's dropped. I do believe that Dun Yun Fan should be able to take this one. Next, you move into Sun Yunbo. Okay, now this is where I'm going to be honest. About this point of the card, a lot of these fights, basically like the next three, all look the exact same, and not in a racist way. What I mean is that basically the styles are just the same for like half of these. Silingbo, very weak record again. He's just fought Chinese people inside Chinese promotions. His first 3 fights are 2 losses, are actually 3 losses almost. Then he went on a massive run, but that's because he fought absolute cans. Even the Peter Danzo finish was a can. He was on the card last year, did not get a contract. It's one of those ones to me where I believe that the man does have good striking, but nothing else. I think his grappling and everything else is pretty poor. He leaves his chin high. Sam Kao Jan, I actually would almost go to, but he has just fought fuck all as well. He is lost to Peter Danzo by flying knee. Body kick was not great. His decision was okay, but it's one of those ones where I just don't think either of these have fought anything actually decent. I go with Silangbo. Actually, you know, I'm going to change this from what I had last night. I'm actually going to go with Sim Kao Jan from Singapore. I think he's going to have the better striking. I don't think he's grappling between either of these two. I think it's going to be a straight up kickboxing match. Maybe some grappling will be used, but it won't be good, won't be effectful. I believe that there'll be holes from both of these if it does hit the mat, but I think Zhang Kao has the stronger chin, the stronger striking. Now, as I just said, as we move more into this, like An Yan Rao, he kind of just has the exact same issue as I said from the last fight. I do think he wins this, Yan Ran Ren, but I do believe that he just comes from a gym that has no grappling. He's fought barely anyone, and it's all just TKOs. His armbar inside the first round against this pair against Asian Kuzes was fucking dreadful. Like, I mean, he genuinely was in top mount and messed it up so badly he got submitted because he just left so many holes. It was 2 years ago, but it's so bad. I don't really think that him fighting the shit that he's fought since, with all respect, is going to help him. I think these records are muck. But with that all being said, I do think that he has great okay grappling, strong hands in the power. He has strong hands with striking, but gives away bottom way too much. What I mean is he could be in top mount and next 5 you could literally blink and he'd be on his back and you'd be like, how the fuck did that happen? Because he has too many holes in his game. I do think he wins this fight just because I don't think Seung Yu Kim is Frogman really has any grappling. From what I've been able to watch from most of his fights, it seems to be someone who kind of just... Oh wait, no, do I have this the wrong way around? Completely forget what I'm saying. Frogman is Frogman is the person who has the grappling. Frogman is the better grappler. I think Frogman will win this fight. Sorry, I have this completely wrong. Frogman has the way better grappling here. I think he's fought very weak opponents, but this is becoming the end all be all of this card. He's actually lost to Junlung Park, I think, was on this card. Is that the same person who's actually on this card? Like, it is. Anyways, and Rugzu, actually, he's in the UFC. Yeah, he lost to the road to UFC to him last year. He's come back. He's taken out a lot of lads. He actually has really, really good takedowns. Okay hands, decent striking. I believe the Frogman takes this fight. I had it completely wrong. Forget what I said off the bat. I do think Frogman actually takes this fight. And we will move into... look, I'm not going to waste too much time here. Kangwan Lee, the underdog, he wins this fight. Better grappling, better striking. Overall, should be able to just take this pretty easily. I'm not going to waste my time talking about it. Now, we move into the actual co-main. Now, earlier, I did say that Naranjigal Turandembele, I think is how you say it, Turandembele, may have been terrible, which I don't think he's great. But, being fair to him, I'm still going to pick him to win this fight. Because to me, I still think that he has the stronger hands and the better grappling coming into this fight. I think that if this stays stand-up, he has, again, as his nickname says, art of the knockout. He hasn't beaten exactly massive competition. It's a lot of Mongolian fighters, a lot of stuff. Like, their Stardust record's very poor, obviously. But Danzo, okay, he's okay, but still a technical submission. The Watabi fight is nice. As again, Nasir Belander, as I've said earlier, getting submitted by him, not a great look. But again, if he's able to hit the mat, I do think that he's a decent wrestler. My main issue for picking is because I think Terrence Taran, a wrong turn, is not very good. I think he's coming from nobody MMA, because that's what he will be known as at the end of this. I think that he has beaten absolutely nobody. He's coming from Uriah Faber's A1 Combat promotion. From watching a majority of his fights, he has fought a lot of cans. He's fought a lot of how do you say it? Utter shite. He's fought a lot of cans. He's fought a lot of people that you would kind of look at and go, what the fuck? His striking is really good, but I think the main issue with him is grappling. I don't think his grappling is anywhere near the state that it should be to get like a massive, I wouldn't say this is a massive fight, but a fight in front of an actual audience in Shanghai. This card is actually going to be on in about 9 hours by the time I get this up, I'd say. So I would assume that he's going to come in here and possibly try to stand, and I think if he does, I think he'll get knocked out, and I think if he goes into the ground, I think he'll get submitted. I think Nasser Tanundela is the right one there. And then we move into the main event of Ma Shin versus Bruna Brasil. Now, personally, I'm going with Ma Shin here. I think that she's actually the better fighter between the two of them. I really, really like Bruna Brasil, but there's one thing that Bruna Brasil doesn't do great with, and that's pressure. If she's pressured into an actual fight where she can't follow a complete game plan, she does struggle. And I think Ma Shin is the perfect person to kind of push her out of a game plan, basically. I think that she's the right person to kind of make her question what she's thinking. I think she has the better striking between the two of them. Maybe not the better ground game, but I think Mao Shin can get her starting to question what's going on inside this fight. Because realistically, Bruna Brasil, to me, as I'm going to go look at her record, she's only really beaten fighters like Shauna Brennan and Molly McCann. Even though I like Shauna Brennan, she only beat Shauna Brennan and Molly McCann because them two stick to her game plan. Shauna Brennan didn't push her. Shauna Brennan didn't try to disengage. Shauna Brennan didn't actually try to make anything happen inside that fight. She stayed in her front foot and bounced around like it was karate. I love Mama B, but again, I have to criticize this fight. All she did was bounce around her lead foot and just try and land karate kicks. It didn't work. Same with Molly McCann. Molly McCann did not push her. Molly McCann let her to strike normally. Kong Wang, Laman Labula, both them, she's not even good. She just didn't let her stay to a game plan. She pushed her, started to take her down. Once Bruna Brasil hits her back, she genuinely doesn't know how to get up. It's really, really impressive to like trying at the fight nerds and see other like Brazilian MMA gyms to genuinely not know how to get up is really impressive. I can't see her winning this because I would see Mao Shin being able to just basically outwork her, not stay in her game plan, land head kicks, punches that she just won't see coming, and be able to take her down and control her. I do think this goes to decision. I don't know if there's going to be any finishes on the card, but that's the way I'm going to look at it. But anyways, if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button or hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the red button. The red button really needs to be hit by you. I'm getting a lot of viewership, but not many people hitting the red button, so please do it if you watched this whole one. And anyways, if you did, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.